Okay, so this will be a really quick intro to linear equations and linear like lines in a graph format and equation format. So in a graph format, linear is just a line. It's actually a straight line. So this is anything that's not like straight essentially. It's not gonna really conform to the linear that we have in the sense of like algebra. That fits also to this equation format. So the equation for linear equation is usually called the um, this is what it's usually written as in a lot of places. You can change some of the variable names, but like x and y kind of makes sense because this is x, this is y, so this is usually the same. You can change sometimes these two things, but usually it's MB. But in a sense, what this means, this is the equation for a linear line, for equation for a line. So mathematically and like in terms of equation wise, this is the y value on the graph. So if you have this tells you like this pass back like that. Axis, the y, and x is like this thing. So the m is called the slope, which is essentially how steep the line is. So if it's like this versus actually if it's this versus like this, there's a big difference. Kind of, not kind of, it is. It's a slope. How steep is it? Yeah. So that gives you the slope, which is very important. Eventually, this will help with derivatives, which essentially the word for slope later on. But yeah, slope tells you that. B is called the Y-intercept, which is where on the y-axis there's a line. What value of y does the line hit? So like in this case, the y-intercept is this. So basically, what's the value of y at x equals 0? So if you have this equation, we could just set x equals 0, and that's get y equals b, and that's why b is a y-intercept. So let's do, let's suppose it's this. This is a 2. Suppose I told you the slope is 2, which define the slope is change of y. Slope, which is m, is change in y or change in x. So I don't know if this is 0, 2, and this is negative 2, 0. So the slope will be change in y. So 2 minus 0 is just 2, and change in x, which is the easiest way to do this is to actually just do this is called the final point, I guess, or the starting point. If you want to like go with that, just do it in one order. So 2 minus 0, and then 0 minus a negative 2. Just choose one way to do it. So if you're gonna do it this way, 2, 0, so 2 minus 0 is change in y, and then change in x, so 0 minus a negative 2, so that's a 2. So it's 2 over 2, I believe. So slope is 1. Yeah, so slope in this case is 1 because it's 2 over 2, which is just 1. The y-intercept is 2 because that's what the value of y is at x equals 0. So the equation for this line would be y equals slope, which is just 1, x plus 2, or just y equals x plus 2. And that's how you do it graphically and equation-wise. These two are basically synonymous in two different forms. Yeah, and that's linear equations.